When we tap into becoming masters of our destiny and our soul, then all these other systems, the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, the spiritual life, everything, when we tap into that part of our brain, ta-da, our neocortex, the new brain. A lot of us don't get to use it because we're trying to work the reptilian brain. Fear, survival, doubt, insecurity. These are the things that are holding us back. It's the battle that happens in our own head. In the Eastern culture, they call that the Bhagavad Gita. And there's an epic story about a Hindu god named Krishna. And Krishna has a disciple named Arjuna. And Arjuna is going through this inner struggle. And it's this battle, and it's this battle. Because it is the reptilian brain, the old brain, the limbic system, fight or flight response, and the neocortex, the new brain. The mammalian brain, those are the lower brain, the middle brain, the higher brain. That's easy enough to remember, right? I was a pre-med student for a few years, but I don't remember any of it. The doctors are so much smarter than me. And that's okay, because that's not my profession. But we must step into that higher brain to experience a higher life. And that higher brain produces drugs, real drugs, serotonin, dopamine, epinephrine. The fight or flight response creates cortisol. And it creates, adrenaline. That is the limbic system. So when we're going to our jobs in the morning, a simple routine, just a little ritual. When I used to do is get up and drink coffee and eat and rush, get in the car, and the heart, the reasons that heart attacks happen between 9 and 10 a.m. on Monday mornings, or between 9 and 10 a.m. in general in traffic, it's because of that very culture. Simple thing to save our life, our heart, and I really want our working professionals, working men and women out there, working men and women everywhere, I want to be that person that helps you to come back in balance. So you step into your car, okay? Put on something like relaxing music, classical music, meditation music, spiritual music, something that soothes you. When you're drinking your coffee, take, or your tea or whatever you're sipping, make sure the caffeine is balanced with natural, organic something or some creamer so you don't have osteoporosis later. But, water or whatever, you just hydrate, but slow it down a little bit. Just breathe a little bit. Then come up with something in your head that relaxes your heart. That's a mindset shift. You do those 2 or 3 things, then what happens is you step in your car, you turn the ignition, you drive, but your mind, which controls about 90 plus, they say about 93%, I would say more, it's the software. It's like our iPhone having a virus or a bug. Our programming is wrong. It's the rush and the push, and it creates the adrenaline, and the adrenaline creates cortisol, and the cortisol hits our heart, and bam, the heart is blocked. And when it's blocked, you can't breathe anymore. You can't breathe. You don't have oxygen. You have anxiety. You have anxiety. You have a panic attack. You have a panic attack. You do that for too many years, and then you stress yourself, and bam, and then you're dead, and then your children. And I only know that pain because I lost my mom on June 16, 1982. I dedicated my first book to my mom. She was very young, in her 30s, and she died. I lost my mom. It was very hard living without my mom. As a teenager, it is unbearable pain. I didn't know anything about, never even had a boyfriend in high school because I thought to get boyfriends, I'd just be like my dad, just work my biceps and I'd arm wrestle them. I was like a tomboy in a way, and so arm wrestle him and beat him. And if I beat him, I'd get a boyfriend. And my dad's like, kind of. But I didn't know better, and like none of the boys liked me ever, and I was like suffering and struggling. If I had known any better, I had a mom, she'd be like, well, no, you know, later on in, okay, the years I learned how to be feminine and whatnot. But like, we leave our children behind. See, because I had that pain, my goal is that you and your children won't have that pain. Because today we will lose 2,100 of our very best and brightest executives. And people in this country will die today because of the cortisol, the shock, the adrenaline, the limbic system, fight or flight, get that money, pay that bill, pay the card, pay the insurance, pay this, pay it, blah, 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 the mind, it's like, my God, who, you know, the heart's like, in and up, the blood pressure goes up, bam. Challenging. Life is stressful, and the doctors say slow down. And the poor doctors in their 40s, doctors have a life expectancy of 46. Why? It's because they signed up for something where they wanted to serve, and I wanted to be a doctor. I just wasn't smart enough. I'll admit it. I didn't have the brain for it. I had the heart for it. I didn't have a steady hand to be a surgeon. I just couldn't do it. But they have a heart, and then they get stuck 5 hours a day in computer inefficient systems, insurance claims, so they don't get time with the patient. They don't get to fulfill their heart's desires. They don't get to do what they want to do and what they love. They're having to work in the ER. They're employees of a hospital, and the hospital's cranking out patients and patients. And our pharmaceutical companies, I was much better at a pharmacy, you know, I tried after that, pharmacy. And our pharmaceuticals are amazing because the drugs that they've developed today and the technology has helped. I mean, like when I was in labor, I mean, I'd do Pitocin. I mean, the thing caused pain, but my baby's here to induce labor. There's things that they took natural and ancient remedies and created an economy, a world. It's helped us to be healthier. The wealthiest, healthiest, most amazing time in the history of mankind. Our people are dying. Our quality of life is plummeting. We die today younger, 10 to 20 years younger because of our way of life than we did 20 to 30 years ago. I have to think about that, right? Isn't that important? Save your heart. Save your heart. And like I said, a simple relaxation, accessing the intuition, breathing, slowing it down a little bit, pacing yourself a little bit. And I only know because, like I said, you know, back in 2002, I threw myself in the hospital with kidney disease, kidney failure for almost 2 years. I was always on a survival machine. I'm not speaking to you because I haven't been there. I'm speaking to you because I've been there. I know the pain. I know that. But we have to change something. A little bit. Just a tiny bit. Right? The other most important thing that we really have to remember, and we have to think about. We have to think about and remember that we are part of a global family. What we think, what we do, what we speak, what we say, you know, like I was saying, I had to deal with some very, very challenging experiences. And the younger me would, like my very first video, I was very specific and exact in my first book, and I can't change it, about an incident. Because I was in 2002. I wrote that manuscript, it started. And I was coming from a place of a lot of pain, and it's 100% truth. But I named an individual in there, in my family, you know, and something that happened, and I didn't foresee the consequence of how it would upset someone. But when we function in We're in a state of pain, like a murder or a death or PTSD or shock or trauma or immense stress and pressure in our jobs, or we don't function from our neocortex. We function from either the reptilian brain, fight or flight, limbic system, or the reptilian brain, which is Darwinian philosophy, survival of the fittest. The reptilian brain is, kill or be killed. The limbic system is fight or flight, leave the situation, fight or flight it. Reptilian brain is where we have the killers, murderers, rapists. This is the destructive. However, it is also a repetition. It helps us to remember things, memory. But it also has control over us. This lower brain, go back to living in the caveman era, take away all the modern amenities. That would be a reptilian brain, dinosaur, right? So it's dinosaur. Middle brain is a system that is triggered like hunter-gatherers. When we were hunter-gatherers, that system came in the mid-level of human evolution. If there's a wild boar or a wild pig or a deer, and we're going for a hunt, we're going for a kill, we're going to go feed our family, that animal is going to kill us, or we're going to kill it and we're going to get food. So it's a fight or flight. We fight that animal and win for our family as a hunter-gatherer society, or that animal fights us and they win, and it's like what the lion and tigers are doing in the safaris of Africa today. We see the videos on on National Geographic. Is that your brain? Is that your highest potential? Are you a crazy animal? Well, some of us are, times we can be. That gets triggered. That's what was wrong with that. Well, they were operating from that part of the brain. But that shouldn't be the part of the brain, if you're watching my videos, that you are operating from in your business, in your life, because that brain is shrinking. It has died a long time ago, but it's still there in us. It's a dying system. A new brain, access to cosmic consciousness, total awareness, infinite abundance, wealth, success, inside and out, happiness, all possibilities exist. Might not exist in your little world, but it exists in the world. And it will happen for you if you connect to that. But you have to step in that place of faith, trust, belief. These are soft skills, mindset shifts. You have to have that belief that affirmation, powerful vibrational energy that's coming in Soul Mastery is words have power. Louise Hay created a $100 million empire on this. You can heal your life. Her book, amazing woman, amazing work. Maybe one day I'll be blessed to grace that stage, I pray. My dream is to grace the Hay House stage because it is a people, an audience that was prepared by Dr. Deepak Chopra, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Dr. David R. Hawkins. These are legends in my world. A dream that only you can help me make come true. I write these books. I spoke to someone at Hay House who has the power and authority to allow me to be on that stage, but I have to prove that my work is going to benefit your life. It adds value to your life. And if it does, and you get on my email list, and then I can show them, look, I have a potential, people that are interested in this work. It's inspiring them or it's valuable to them. But how will I ever know that if you and I never have a conversation and you never get on my list? My dream never moves forward, and who knows about yours? But I would love for you and I to have a conversation. I do training calls every week that are free, webinars that I like to serve and help others. And right now, at least, I don't know how long that'll happen and where my life will go and where I'm traveling. But right now, in this video, if you're watching it, I'd love to invite you to where I get to actually hear you and not just me. And you get on my calls and tell me your problems and your challenges. And I'll do everything I can in my power to find that solution for you. And if I don't have it or and I can't be the one that's the right fit or can't help you, then I will help you to find somebody. Because in the last, I would say, 5 or so years, I traveled, I have a network of thousands and thousands of people that are very qualified in every field and expertise that you can think of that I've met in person. And I would love to help them and help you, and maybe that's my job, is to just make a connection. I don't know. Whatever it is that will help your world, help your life, help your family.